I did want to ask Alvin because I heard you say it and I thought it'd be a really interesting thing to a thread to get on. You mentioned your agency has gone through so many different iterations with how it's been passed on throughout your family. When it was your turn to sort of look at your agency as a whole and make those decisions, I was curious, was there stuff in your brand or elements of the agency that you knew were intricate and so important that they weren't going to be changed? And were there other things that you wanted to change in order to incorporate your a little more of yourself into it? Um, and could you share those with us?
Yeah, I mean, my family's travel agency specifically focused on travel to and from the Philippines. And our customer base focused on Filipinos traveling back and forth. And at the time, I wasn't very fluent in the native language Tagalog. So I had a hard time connecting with our clients. And so I, mistakes are to happen. And so one of my mistakes in my early career was trying to convert them into things that they were not. They were not looking for that premium uh, product. They were not looking for extra amenities. And so I learned from my mistakes because customers left. And I didn't understand because I thought I could sell what I wanted to them. And this is a great example where my brand was different from what I needed to be for my company. And so I had to learn that this brand, the travel agency had to maintain its reputation and strength in this place. And as I grew other sectors, whether it's river cruising, cruises, FITs, that it would have to take a different meaning. And so we ended up dividing the company into two and having two focuses so that
Oh,
the
wow.
clients were not confused. It was hard to relate a premium product when you're selling economical rates and economical or budget friendly tours. So again, I mean, it was miscommunication at that point, and so we had to identify, okay, what works for our clients, what works for this demographic, and how can we make it easier? Because in the world of distraction, clients don't have time to determine what it is that you are. They just need to know upfront, this is who I serve, this is what I am, this is who I want to represent, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And that's so important. I think people know be upfront about who you are is going to be
Mhm.
important because again, like you mentioned, instant gratification now, and of course, you order something on Amazon, it's going to arrive. It could arrive at your doorstep the next morning, and people want things. They want things now, and
Yeah.
people don't want it. As bad as it sounds, people it seems like people don't want to take the time to learn about you if you're trying to sell them
Yeah.
something.
And I don't know where it was. The first impressions when we first, you know, I'm getting old now, but I think the first impression takes like 3 or 5 seconds when you meet someone. On the internet, it's even faster. I mean, you're going through people's feeds, through people's websites. The moment they look at you and they automatically judge, okay, is this a person that I trust? Do I feel safe? And if it's not, they move on. And that's where it goes. And that's where we're trying to hit. What emotions, again, if you're playful, if you're energetic, that's a different feeling or vibe that you're trying to portray. But it's not miscommunicating who and what you represent.
Okay. And then I'm curious. I mean, you said there was sort of two different brands with your agency, and that helped the differentiate between the types of things you were trying to sell, the two types of clients you were trying to service. Did you get a lot of crossover with clients who maybe were interested in, like you mentioned, the travel back and forth, and then they also wanted to partake in the other premium side of the business? Was there a lot of crossover?
It was just a lot of educating. There was a lot of honest discussion. But what I really learned most is that saying the word no opens the opportunity for others to say yes. A lot of times we stand in our own way because of the uncertainty of not knowing if this is going to work or not. But that's the feeling that you have to embrace as an entrepreneur. And if you're following a value that really represents yourself, it will translate to bring other people's towards you because passion and desire, all of that, when it exudes from your brand, people are attracted to that. People aren't attracted, like we said, vanilla marketing. If you just say that you're something but not live it, that's why emotional branding, it's not like a strategy. It's a lifestyle in the way that you communicate with your clients. I mean, we all have those friends that we like and friends that we don't like. Usually community. So if your client's a little bit more and it's dreadful, then that may not be your core clients. Maybe it's something that you need to move on for. And that's what we identified. Again, as we moved up in our evolution, we moved up to new suppliers. We moved up to our expectations of ourselves, and our clients changed, and those who didn't, just we just had to say goodbye.
Yeah, that is I know you broke up a little bit there, Al, but I think that's such a great lesson. I mean, I think we did one masterclass just specifically on how to say no to a client,
Yeah.
which is a lesson I know a lot of people learned over the last year. Simply one of the reasons was because how busy everything was and how great business was. It was just impossible to service so many clients. But
Hmm.
being able to say no simply because you're on a journey that they maybe don't want to be a part of, or you're on a journey that maybe doesn't fit what they're looking for anymore, is not a bad thing. Like it's something that
Yeah.
advisors maybe should be okay with.